What's up, guys? It's Kictor, and welcome back to another... Where are we? Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation 5 stream. I almost couldn't find the book. Stream canceled. Just kidding. It was under my iPad. What's up, guys? I see Emma sent a gift membership right off the bat. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate that. Who right now, I want to see it in the chat. I want to see numbers in the chat. Who is cold right now? Who is cold right now? Because you know what? It is fucking cold out. And who? I want to see in the chat. Put in the chat. Who is cozy as fuck right now? I want to see the difference between the cold, the cozy, and the cold, okay? Oh my god. 2 microphones! Oh! I'm like about to get cold, I think. I'm in the middle. Yes, Wizard of Moss, I'm with you. I'm in the middle. I'm in between the cozy and the cold. Oh, what color should we make the background today? It's green because we filmed Scumvillain earlier. It is so cold, is it not? Oh my gosh. Cozy train over here. Purple. Oh, It's Be Honey was the first to answer. Purple. Okay. Oh. Whoa! Spoilers Lily has been a Supreme member for 5 months. Thank you so much, Spoilers Lily. Oh my goodness. I really appreciate that. And says, popping in to say hi. I couldn't join previous streams due to having bronchitis and tonsillitis. Oh god. Oh, that's so awful. Dude, I used to get like bronchitis like crazy. I haven't gotten it this year yet, thank god. But I know how fucking awful that is, so I hope you're feeling better, dude. Leo has the coziest, warmest sweater on. Oh my gosh, incredible. Ugh. Emma says, I'm all nice and cozy in my butterfly fleece sweater. Oh, incredible, incredible. Okay, so cozy. We're so cozy. Oh, isn't purple such a good color? Right? I think I saw, is Spark Major here? Sugar Kiss is here. Night Owl, It's Be Honey. Kohaku. Crystal Long. Neko Neko Me. It's Be Honey. Meridia says, what's the Scumvillain video about? The new extra? Yes, I basically just told Stitch all about the new extra because she hasn't read it yet. Spark Major says, I am! Spark Major, your Pokemon case file AU is the cutest thing in the entire world. And also, I wanted to tell you that Stitch brings up Garfield Shenzhen often. Like, he is a tenant in our household now. Nastya has been a member for 8 months. Thank you so much. And says, hello, Kictor. How was your day? Also, my Dan May birth is so soon. Oh, yes. Billy percolating. Today was great. What did we do today? Stitch and I hung out this morning, and I made us lattes, and then we walked the doggies, and we went to Indigo and spent $1 billion at Indigo. We got Mistakenly Saving the Villain. And Ballad of Sword and Wine 6. So, expect lots of Dan May shit soon. Yeah, that was super fun. And then we went to like the used video game store nearby, and we ordered a little skirt for our Christmas tree. I bought tiny little hats to put on our Hualian dolls, but they may have ended up on the sheebs. Spark Major says, I have some little Garfields coming your way soon, hopefully. Oh my god, that is incredible. Oh my gosh. Also, I've been preparing some things for Stitch's birthday, which is next Thursday on the 11th. Yes. I'm very excited to spoil Stitch. Oh my god! Somebody just purchased from, oh my goodness, on my shop. Oh yeah, wait, let me make a post about that really quick. Today is the last day for the Black Friday deal. On my shop. And any of you guys buying stuff on my shop really helps support Stitch and I, and you get a cool piece of merch too. So I'm gonna write use code Black Friday at Kictor.com. Today is the last day. There are also little Jung Chung stickers. Jung Chung failing a kickflip on a sword, Kictor sticker, Red String of Fate mug, Tears of 33 Heavenly Officials mug, There's a few things on there, all on discount, so be sure to check it out. 11th of December is Stitch's birthday. Yes. Yes, and I have quite a fun day for us planned. It's gonna be very, very, very exciting. I want to tell you guys. I feel like I could tell you guys. I could tell you guys, but you'd have to keep it such a secret. And if you ever told Stitch, I would never forgive you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna close the door and tell you. Okay. I got us private archery lessons. And it's like an all-women, pretty sure they're lesbians, run like private archery practice. It's so cool. And then we're gonna go get like that Japanese food where they like cook in front of you, where it's like they slice up all the food and the meat in the big fire and they toss the onion at you kind of shit. Yeah. And she told me that she wanted to do some sort of experience thing, and I'm like, yes, it's perfect. Oh, I wasn't telling the chat about your birthday presents. Oh my god!
I was bringing you a latte. I didn't hear anything.
Thank you.
Just chai latte.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I have a birthday present.
You have a birthday present.
Is it exciting?
Yes.
It's so
Thank you for the team.
not in the chat.
That's hilarious. Well, it's safe now. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. This is so good. Let me just go back. I think I missed some messages here. Let's see. Millie said, hey, Akictor, please send good vibes. I have an economics exam tomorrow and I am super scared. Also, I LOL'd very hard at the last game night. Oh my gosh, dude, the game night last night was so much fun. The Danmei snowball fight, that was iconic. That was so iconic. I loved it. Thank you so much for donating. And dude, you're gonna crush your exam. You got this. You're smart. You know what to study. You've prepared. You're gonna kill it. You totally got this. I'm sending you all the good vibes. I got straight A's in school, so I am able to send you the good vibe honor roll student beam. You've got this. You got nothing to be scared about. You are gonna crush it. Many lives were lost in that snowball fight. Yes, we were actually discussing, we're like, Chuaning would cheat by hiring, by enlisting all the little forest spirits to work for him. And he would become like a tyrant by the end of it. Isn't he always behind you? Type of situation, literally. And Feng Xiao turning into Zheng Yan. Yes. Meridia said, I asked you for good vibes a few months ago and I passed my exam with the highest grade. So the Kictor vibes clearly work. You're welcome.
I'm so sorry. Must be completely cold, right? I forgot about the concentrate, like diluted.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
I can microwave it.
Maybe you could microwave it a little bit, but I liked it.
Mine was so cold.
It was pretty cold, but I didn't mind it. So many secrets between me, you, and Stitch today. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. CC Newbie says, I'm just dropping in because I'm still catching up on your previous Modazuchi's reading videos. I'm halfway caught up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, halfway. I mean, we're almost done. I mean, we've got quite a lot in there to go. But yeah, I'm very excited. It's been so much fun reading this book. I'm glad that you've enjoyed listening to it. Kate says, I'll take some Kictor vibes to get through my drawing to-do list. Oh my god, Kate. Kate, you are the best! Kate, you are the best! You are the best and you can do it and you're such an incredible artist and everybody loves you! Oh my god, you're literally incredible! You got this! I will have you know, me and the chat have many secrets now. Ooh, ooh, wait, come back!
No, I can't.
Oh my goodness. She brought me a treat. That is really good. Ooh, that's so good. On my Sakura co-sponsored plate, you're right. Oh my god, you watched the sponsorship. Oh yeah, I promise I'm not like, this is not me like shilling or advertising or anything like that. But I just wanted to tell you something really cool is that I actually got sponsored by another company that, I guess the company that owns Sakura Co and Tokyo Treat does, called Yume Twins. And it's like, there's like cutesy stuff in it. Like it's full of Sanrio stuff. And the box I just got was like a Sanrio Miku and another Miku bobblehead figure and another Cinnamoroll like wallet in it. It was, and like another like Miku card pack. There's a video of us unboxing it. But I was just like, oh my god, it was so exciting to like get another sponsorship. So yeah, keep your eye out for a new sponsorship. It's in the video that we filmed it, we were in our modern TGCF Calamities cosplays. Nad says, I did Yumi Twins for a year for my kids. She loved it. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. I'm pretty sure my code will be kicked her. I'm not sure if it's working yet. But Leo says, I ordered some stuff from Kate's Etsy for Christmas, and I am so excited to get it. Kate's art is godly. We should make, like... I'm gonna post something on the community. Like, we should make a list of, like, artists that we know in the community that are selling, like, art or have their own little shops. Right? Because then we could, like, all support each other and get to know some more artists and stuff. Briarbox says, sorry, oh, there. I'm joking. There's a seed in my throat. We're good. We're good. We're so good. Briarbox says, hey friend, I'm about to combat the cold and go home in 45 minutes. It's been extra wintry today. Oh my god. Dude, I was literally just asking who's cold today, so you might win. I hope you brave the cold. Wizard of Moss says, I just got my order from Yee's shop today. Nice! I think I saw that on Instagram. Orion's Belt says, I ordered the Bing Pup slippers off of Yee's shop for a friend's Christmas gift. They're very cute. Aw, and Kate, yes. Yeah, there's Yee and Kate and Night Owl. Is there anyone else in here that has a shop? Kate, yeah, let me post Kate's Etsy shop. Is it Catland Arts? Can't believe you still have stuff left, Kate. 109 sales, Jesus. Oh my god, Kate. Guys, go support Kate. Oh my god, not prepared costs, dude. Thank you so much for buying a mug, dude. I appreciate that so much. Oh my gosh, thank you. 'Tis a good season for a good mug. It is. It really is. I hope that you like it. Thank you so much. Oh, Sienna had a heated vest. Is there like a battery pack in it? That's awesome. Kate only ships to Canada. I feel that. Because Stitch has a little shop too where she sells her earrings and such. Sienna says, I got it for Christmas last year and it's a lifesaver with my job. Oh, that is amazing. Being warm? That's great. Whoa, It's Bee Honey says, my mom made me a scarf out of Chivuet. Chivuet? One of the warmest and most expensive fibers in the world. Whoa! Oh my gosh, that's cool. That is super cool. And okay. I've got Kate's thing in the chat. And Night Owl. I'm gonna post Night Owl's shop. I love the side-on from Night Owl's shop. I really want that. Oh, you even have Baldur's Gate. Very nice, very nice. This is Night Owl's plush shop. Briarbox says, oh, you'll find this cute. I drew Kate's daughter some fan art today from some Play-Doh monsters. Oh my god, that is so cute. You drew, like, did Kate's daughter make the Play-Doh monsters and then you drew them? That is so cute. Kate, that is so funny. Oh my god, Kate, that's so funny. Shen Yi is from Stars of Chaos, and he is, the guy with the monocle's, like, friend. And there is art of him that exists in the novels, in, like, the interior design art. He's Guyun's friend. That's so funny, Kate. Oh my god, she would be over the moon with that. That's hilarious. Meridia says, do you have an advent calendar this year? Today's December 1st! Oh my god! Do I have an advent calendar? Take your pick! Yes. 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 We have Kinder. Very good. Canadian Kinder. We actually get toys inside them. I do really like the Kinder chocolate. And then we got Cadbury. I was very intrigued to try this one. It says, with an extra treat on Christmas Eve. I like how it's kind of like the classic ones that have a little imprint chocolate. And there's this one, which is it little bears and little balls and stuff. Oh my goodness, thank you for the donation, CSL. And then this one, which is very fancy, special Lindor balls. And me and my dad would always race to find the days, and it's like whoever gets to find the day first wins. So that has now expanded to include Stitch, and then this year with my aunt as well. Kate says, my child basically discovered she can put googly eyes on Play-Doh and made creatures. Yes. That's amazing. Stitch and I want to make little felt ornaments. I was thinking maybe we can make some Dan-made creatures. CSCL, thank you for donating. With the recap, Wei Wuxian sees a glimpse of Jin Guanyao's childhood. Oh yeah, he grew up in the brothel. Jin Guanyao threatens Jinling, but suddenly, Ni Mingjue, -1 hand. Wen Ning protects Jinling and Zhang Cheng. Jinling says thank you to Wangji. I think Zhang Cheng says thank you to Wangji, and Wei Wuxian whistles. Oh yeah, we ended on the Wei Wuxian whistle. Wei Wuxian sneezing Bishan out of his butt. Like, Shen Qingzhou sneezing the wine bottle. That was foul. Your family sounds so fun. Yeah, it is super fun. Also, another thing that's exciting is that, like, downstairs where my dad and my aunt live, it's kind of been like a weird mix of stuff since we moved in. And, like, my dad had this really big TV, and he has just had it resting on the couch since we moved in March. And he moved in even before we moved in. So it's been just on the couch, like on, fully functioning. That's how he watches TV. He sits in his chair and the TV is on a couch. And finally, today, he is mounting it to the wall, which is great, which means that I can sit on the couch and I don't have to sit on the floor when I go downstairs and hang out with him. Spark Major. The Cherry Magic coffee bed scene. Oh my god, that's so funny. I love how so many people noticed that. Emma says, are you gonna stream reaction videos to season 3 of TGCF? Oh my god, I will definitely be making so much content when season 3 comes out. Whenever that is. Oh yeah, has anyone gotten the physical English TGCF manhwa yet? Season 3 has not been announced. I was just replying to a message. Wizard of Moss got it today. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. Ah, Aloha Comics said they would send it to me, but they have not replied to my emails. So I might just go buy it tomorrow. Rose City Kimono says, when I am done with Beauty's Blade, which new Danmei should I read? 300 Years of Longing or Missville? Ooh! Yeah, we got both of those. I do think more people talk about Missville, but who knows? Thank you for donating. The chat could maybe climb in for that. Oh, Missville. Yeah, I thought so. Shani said, will you react to Eternal Faith should it ever come out? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can. Yes, 100%. Is Missville the same author as Beauty's Blade? Who wrote Mistakenly Saving the Villain? Feng Yu Ni? Who wrote Beauty's Blade? Feng Ren Zhou Shu. They're both Feng, but I think it's different. Same author. Fuck this. Fuck AI overview. Oh my god. Emma was here. Yeah, definitely. We definitely will do videos together. If it is the same person, they have different pen names. Oh. Okay. Feng Yu Ni is the one who did Mistakenly Saving the Villain. They show up under the same author on the Seven Seas website. Is Feng Yu Ni and... oh my god, wait, someone just... Oh, who? Oh my god, who just bought merch? Wait, one sec. Did anyone catch the name of who just bought merch? Thank you so much for gifting a membership, Sugar Kiss. Ooh, is it a GLBL, Gli Bli, Gumai Kandai situation? Did it say who the name was? I'm so sorry if I missed the donation, but thank you so much for buying a shirt. I really appreciate it. If you let me know in the chat who you were, I'll thank you by name, but thank you so much for purchasing the shirt. It was Sailor Shipper. Sailor Shipper, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Sailor Shipper. I hope you like the shirt. You rock. Thank you, Sienna, for catching that. Feng Well, now, okay, you gotta look up Feng, Ren, Zuo, Shu, and Feng, Yu, Ni. Are they the same person? Maybe Seven Seas just made a mistake? Interesting. Okay, maybe that happened because they both start with Feng. That's so funny. Because I'm pretty sure I mean, maybe that's secret information we weren't supposed to know. Tiercella says, I got my Danmei book club shirt before the blizzard hit. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Could they be related? Maybe. Maybe they are sisters. Oh well, it's all good. It's exciting. Beauty's Blade, because I know the Beauty's Blade author has written other GL, right? Okay, okay. Shall we jump into the book? Oh my god, does this not match the aesthetic of the room so much? Look at all the purple stuff. Okay. Purple was a good color choice. It does match my shirt like perfectly. This is like my favorite shirt. I love these colors. Okay. Okay. What happened? Oh, B. Lien! Thank you so much for being a member for a whole year! Oh my gosh, that's Braley, right? Thank you so much, dude. You are amazing. I love having you here so much. So thank you, thank you. Oh my goodness, I really appreciate that. CSL says, I meant to ask if your volume is the Barnes & Noble edition with the comic in the back. It is not. I don't have that edition. I have the Barnes & Noble edition of TGCF with the poster in the back. I'm sure I've seen the comic maybe when it first came out, but I can't remember what it looks like now. Aw, thank you, Braley. Thank you. Belian. Okay. Okay. Niming Dre is like fucking shit up, basically. Wei Wuxian whistled twice more and greeted him with a smile. Hello, Qifeng-zan. Recognize me? Niming Jue's hideous white eyes looked on him. It's fine if you don't, he continued, as long as you recognize this whistle. Ooh, hot girl shit. Hot girl shit. Oh, sure, Scorpius. You could send me pictures of it. Okay, chapter 22, Hidden Edge. Just like the sword in his... Never mind. Lan Qichen removed Lei Bing from his lips. Wei Gongzi! He had intended to remind Wei Wuxian that his current body belonged to Mo Shanyu, who was also related by blood to Jing Guanyao, and more closely than the latter was to Jin Ling. Things would only grow more fraught if Niming Jue identified him as a target for his vengeance. Being an uncle of Jin Ling's in the end actually puts you at major danger. It's time to uncle down. You don't want to be an uncle in this time. But before Lan Qichen could say another word, Lan Wangji turned to him and shook his head, looking both calm and composed. Lan Qichen immediately understood what he meant. There was no need to worry. Lan Wangji believed Wei Wuxian would be fine. Oh my god, he's like, bro, fucking chill. That's the Yiling goddamn patriarch right there. That's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious and so sexy that he's like, my wife's capable. Chill, brother. My wife is very capable. Wei Wuxian whistled an easy tune, complimenting his easy stride. Can everyone in the chat whistle really good? Unk status is dangerous. Show some respect for my wife. Yes. The whistling was calming to the ear, but the idyllic melody sounded eerie against the backdrop of a Guanyin temple littered with bodies in the middle of a raging storm. Wenning remained sprawled on Zhengcheng and Jinling, but when he heard the song, an unusually powerful urge seemed to drive him to stand. He struggled a moment, then fell over again, perhaps because he'd managed to resist the compulsion, or because he hadn't yet regained his ability to move. Zhengcheng and Jinling both unconsciously reached out to catch him, but they looked conflicted about it, as though they also wanted to drop him immediately. Oh, yeah, they're like, no, we hate him. Oh, but he saved us and we kind of like him now. Oh. Ah, they'll figure it out. Grinning, Wei Wuxian continued to whistle what sounded like a whimsical tune. He backed away at an unhurried pace, hands clasped behind his back. Ni Mingjue remained where he was. He seemed indifferent when Wei Wuxian took his first step back, and even the third did not move him. But by the seventh, it seemed he could no longer withstand the power of that compulsion, and took a step in the direction Wei Wuxian was heading. Which was toward the magnificent empty coffin in the temple's rear grounds. Just lead him right into the coffin. As long as Ni Mingjue went in there, Wei Wuxian had a way of sealing him away. The corrosive white smoke had long since dispersed and was no longer a threat. Ni Mingjue's expression was dark and steely as he was guided to the empty coffin, which seemed to instinctively repulse him. Everyone, especially Wangji, watched with bated breath as Wei Wuxian circled around the coffin. Just like, Lanjan, get on all fours and I'll push! As he continued to whistle leisurely, Wei Wuxian tossed a look Wangji's way. When their eyes met, he gave Wangji a flirtatious wink. Oh my god. Your capable wife reporting for duty. A barely perceptible quiver rippled through the Guqin music, following from Wangji's fingers as if they'd been pricked by a small needle of sweetness. They are fucking on the job! Right in public! Oh my god, the wink and the... My god! But the vacillation was instantly calmed. Wei Wuxian, feeling a bit smug, turned his head back to Ni Mingjue and patted the rim of the coffin. You could fit so many Qifeng Zuns in this thing. Finally, moving at a painfully slow pace, Ni Mingjue leaned down. But just as he was about to lay half his body into the coffin, there came a sudden, horrid cry from behind Lan Qichen. Ni Mingjue stopped mid-action and whipped his head around, as did everyone else. They saw Su Shou with Jing Guanyao on his back, one of his hands supporting Jing Guanyao's thigh. Oh! Did we really need to know where his hand was on his thigh? Damn. Because I kind of ship it, you know? One of his hands supporting Jing Guanyao's thigh and the other gripping a sword. Which sword? That dripped with blood. Ni Huaisang laid collapsed on the floor, clutching his leg and rolling around in pain. At the sight of this, Lan Qichen used Shuoye's sword chi to strike the hand with which Su She held his blade, leaving him stunned as the hilt slipped free of his grip. Ni Huaisang had already been wounded, and the air was tinged with the scent of blood. How could they hurt Ni Huaisang? Like, come on, he was just laying there, man. And Jing Guanyao was also like, I wouldn't hurt him. You know how much I care about him. Man, oh man. Ruining my work at such a critical moment. Outrageous, Wei Wuxian berated him in his head. Ni Huaisang and Ni Mingjue were half-brothers, born of different mothers, but sharing the same father. The smell of Ni Huaisang's blood wouldn't rouse Ni Mingjue's murderous intent, but it would rouse his curiosity. That curiosity would lure him to the renewed proximity to Jing Guanyao, who would then regain his attention. If Jing Guanyao was killed, Ni Mingjue's ferocity would no doubt escalate, and thus make him all the harder to subdue. Okay, so everyone needs Jing Guanyao alive. Sure enough, Ni Mingjue growled as he moved away from the coffin. They're like, Jiggy, we're just gonna need you to lay down in the coffin for a second. We'll pull you out, but we just need you to lay in the coffin so that Ni Mingjue will get in the coffin. Sure enough, Nimingdui growled as he moved away from the coffin. He instantly recognized who laid on Susho's back, and not even Wei Wuxian's whistling could restrain him any longer. Nimingdui hurtled over like a blast of wind, his grasping hand aiming for Jing Guanyao's head. Duh! This is the last thing you see. Duh! Susho swiftly sidestepped. With the tip of his foot, he kicked up the long sword that had previously been struck out of his hand and gathered every last bit of spiritual power he had to aim the blade at Nimingdui's heart. Perhaps because it was a matter of life or death, the attack was miraculously fast and fierce. The sword was filled to the brim with his spiritual power, glowing with a stunning brilliance that put all his previous attacks to shame. Beautiful, said Wei Wuxian, unable to resist praising it. The explosive attack forced Nimingdui to take a single large step back, but as soon as the spiritual light dimmed, he moved forward once more, relentlessly grabbing at Jing Guanyao. Susha flung Jing Guanyao to Lan Chen with one hand while he slashed at Nimingdui's throat. He's like, oh, here, oh, this bitch will catch him for sure. Oh, God. Oh, no, now Susha's gonna have a crush on Wei Wuxian, too. Never! God. He's like, I got him! I got him! Even though Nimingdui's body wasn't impenetrable as iron, the thread sewn around his neck might not be. Had the attack landed, it might have at least brought them some time, even if it couldn't subdue Nimingdui. But the sword had just been infused with a sudden burst of spiritual power that was well beyond its capacity. Without warning, it shattered into pieces mid-swing. As for Nimingdui's strike, it landed squarely on Susha's chest. Susha's brilliance had only lasted a moment. He didn't even have time to cough up blood or say any respectable or ruthless last words before the life in his eyes was instantly snuffed out. Damn. Typical Susha. Oh shit, I didn't realize he died. I mean, fuck him, but... Aw, it always sucks when someone dies. Wow, he protected Jing Guanyao to the very end. And he finally, you know, in his final moments, he was called beautiful, and he protected someone, you know. It's like, for once, he was not cringe. He had one last not cringe moment before going out, and he could die happy. Jing Guanyao, lying next to Lan Chen in a heap, also witnessed this. A hint of tears glistened in his eyes, perhaps because of the immense pain and blood loss from his midriff and severed hand. I like how it's like, the glistening of tears in his eyes was not because Susha died. Don't get it twisted. No one gave a rat's ass about that fucker. Yeah, CSCL, exactly. There was no time for him to catch his breath or lick his wounds, however. Once Nimingdui withdrew his hand, he turned around and stared predatorily in Jing Guanyao's direction once more. The set jaw, the aloof, stern, and critical way he looked at him. Stop, Daga! It was exactly the same as when he was alive. It was the gaze that Jing Guanyao feared the most. The gaze of someone that would not be manipulated. Jing Guanyao's tears ran dry due to sheer terror. Arga, he pleaded in a quivering voice. Lan Chen shifted the course of his sword, and Wei Wuxian and Wangji also hastily changed their tune, but the whistling's control had already been broken previously, and renewing the effect using the same method would be much harder. Wei Wuxian, someone called suddenly. What? Wei Wuxian answered immediately, realizing only after the fact it was Jiang Cheng who had spoken. He found the latter calling him a bit odd, but Jiang Cheng didn't say another word. Instead, he retrieved something from his sleeve and hurled the item at Wei Wuxian, who caught it without a second thought. Booker catch! When he looked down, he saw that it was a shining black flute, with a bright red tassel fastened at the end. Oh my god. He had his fucking flute. Oh my god. He had Chen Qing this entire time? That's crazy. Oh. Bro's been holding on to that thing for 13 years. That's crazy. Oh, Chung Chung. The hell flute, Chen Qing. With that very familiar flute in his hand, Wei Wuxian abandoned his surprised expression, along with everything else. He raised it to his lips without hesitation. Lan Zhan, he called. Quinn, thank you for the donation. Oh no, he's immune to the dimples. It's true. Ni Mingjue, you know, he gave him 2 chances. It was truly a fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you situation, you know? Or the other way around. He was like, you're not fooling me again. I'm gonna kick you down the stairs if you try to fool me. I don't care how many dimples you have. Wangji gave a slight nod. Nothing else needed to be said. Guqin and flute began their duet. Oh, this is so cool. Icy spring water was the Guqin, and the flute was like a bird in flight. One suppressed while the other lured. Oh my! Just like their relationship. Under their combined efforts, Ni Mingjue's body swayed before he was finally half forced to move away from Jing Guanyao. Under the duet's thrall, he moved stiffly towards the empty coffin once more, step by step. That's so fucking cool, just like how powerful it would be with the actual flute and his Guqin after all this time. Yeah, they played Wonderwall. Wei Wuxian and Wangji followed him closely, step by step. As he leapt into the casket, the two each kicked one end of the coffin cover at the same time. The hefty lid flew upward, then dropped into place. Moving fast, Wei Wuxian hopped agilely onto the head of the coffin, stuck Chen Qing back into his waistband, and bit a finger of his right hand. Movements flowing like water, he drew the vibrant, bloody lines of a spell. Without a moment's faltering. Oh, Meridia, yes! Only then did the beastly howling within the coffin gradually subside. Wangji pressed down on his Guqin's 7 vibrating strings, halting the song flowing from his fingertips. Wei Wuxian softly blew out a long breath. He prudently waited to see if he could sense anything, and only stood up after ensuring there was no more power to be felt from beneath the lid. Bye, Godmother. Oh, hell yeah! Okay, wait, look at these guys. This is the ultimate showdown. Look at them. Hell yeah. Their duet is so epic. Daga is taking a nap now. What a bad temper, no? Standing on the top of the coffin, he was much taller than Wangji. Wangji put away his Guqin and raised his head to look at him with his light eyes. Wei Wuxian leaned down, unable to resist giving that pristine face a little scratch. Maybe by accident, or maybe on purpose. He let a few bloody red streaks in their wake. Wangji didn't mind in the least. He's like, I understand that. Sometimes I just gotta do that to Stitch. Come down now. Wei Wuxian jumped, smiling, and he caught him perfectly. Oh, just like the tree. Things were quieting down, but Ni Huaisong started crying in pain at the other end of the room. Chi-Chen-ga! He cried. Quickly, come help and see if my leg's still connected to my body. Lan Qichen walked over and held him down. After his examination, he comforted him. Huaisong, you are fine. No need to be so scared. Your leg is not broken. It was merely stabbed. Ni Huaisong was horrified. Stabbed? How could I not be scared if I was stabbed? Was it piercing through? Chi-Chen-ga, help me! Lan Qichen was torn between laughing and crying. It is not that serious. But Ni Huaisong continued to roll around on the ground, hugging his leg. Knowing Ni Huaisong was terrified of pain, Lan Qichen retrieved a pill bottle from his breast pocket and placed it in his hands. To soothe your discomfort. He's like, oh my god, girl, take an Advil! Ni Huaisong immediately took out a pill and swallowed it. Why am I so unlucky, getting randomly captured by Suma and Shan on the road? He started out just trying to make a break for it moments ago, too, but then he turned around and stabbed me. If I was in his way, he could have just pushed me aside. Why use a weapon? Lan Qichen straightened up and looked back. Jing Guanyao was in an extremely sorry state, still sitting where he had fallen. Lan Qichen's like, anyways, I don't give a shit about you. Ayao? His face was white as a sheet, his hair was slightly mused, and a cold sweat drenched his forehead. Perhaps because of the pain of his severed hand was too great, he was unable to contain the soft groan that escaped his lips. Oh. He looked up to meet Lan Qichen's eyes. Although nothing was said, the sight he presented alone, protecting the stump that was now his wrist, wearing a most miserable expression, made it difficult not to feel sympathy. It's like you can't believe him, right? He's like, oh, Arga, oh. Like, meanwhile, Ni Huaisang is like, ow, Arga, ow. And he's like, fuck off. Lan Qichen gazed at him for a bit, then sighed. In the end, he took out the medicinal remedies he carried on him. Oh, girl. Sect leader Lan, Wei Wuxian cautioned. Wei Gongzi, he cannot do anything right now, considering the state he is in, Lan Qichen said. He might die here and now if we do not tend to him. There are still many things that remain unclear, and I will require further questioning. I understand, Sect leader Lan, Wei Wuxian said. I'm not telling you not to save him. I'm just cautioning you to be careful. Best to cast the silence spell to keep him from speaking. That's his fucking weapon, man. Lan Qichen gave a light nod and turned to Jing Guanyao. As you hear, Sect Leader Jin, please do not do anything unnecessary. In the event that you make any sort of move, I will show no mercy. He took a deep breath. In taking your life. Jing Guanyao nodded and said in a weak, quiet voice, Thank you, Zewujan. Lan Qichen bent down and began to minister to Jing Guanyao's wrist to both care and caution as the latter shivered. Seeing the state his once infinitely glorious sworn brother had been reduced to, Lan Qichen didn't know what to say. All he could do was sigh to himself. Not the state of his once infinitely glorious. He thought he was glorious. Oh. Wei Wuxian and Wangji went together to the corner where Wenning still laid awkwardly, half-collapsed over Zhang Cheng and Jinling. Wei Wuxian laid him flat on the floor and inspected the hole in his chest. Look at this. What am I going to fill this with? He griped, greatly chagrined. Gongzi, is my condition serious? Wenning asked. No, Wei Wuxian replied. It's not like you need organs, but it's ugly. I do not need to look pretty, though. Zhang Cheng was silent, while Jinling looked like he was holding back what he wanted to say. At the other end of the room, Lan Qichen had wanted to take this chance to issue a proper reprimand. Seeing Jing Guanyao on the verge of fainting from the pain of the treatment, however, he was unable to bear the sight. He turned his head to make a request of Ni Huaisang. Huaisang, pass me the bottle from earlier. Ni Huaisang had tucked the pill bottle into his breast pocket after taking a few painkillers earlier. Oh, okay, he replied quickly. He began to rummage through his robes, trying to find the bottle for Lan Qichen. All of a sudden, his pupils contracted and he cried out, voice aghast, Qichenga, watch out behind you! No! 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 Lan Qichen had never let his guard down around Jing Guanyao. He was tense as a taut string, and Ni Huaisang's expression, coupled with his cry, made his heart drop. He drew his sword without a second thought and stabbed behind him. No! 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 His blade pierced Jing Guanyao's chest. Shock and dismay were written on Jing Guanyao's face as his heart was run through. No! Imagine dying and the look on your face is dismay. Lan Qichen straightened up and looked back. Jing Guanyao was in an extremely sorry state, still sitting where he had fallen. His face was white as a sheet, his hair was slightly mused, and cold sweat drenched his forehead. Perhaps because the pain of his severed hand was too great, he was unable to contain the soft groan that escaped his lips. Oh, sorry, I missed a page. That was back. That was before. He pierced his heart. He pierced his heart. His heart was run through. Oh, there's a picture. Oh my fucking god. I can't do this. I can't do this. No. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. The others were just as shocked by the sudden turn of events. Wei Wuxian shot to his feet. What happened? Ni Huaisong stammered as he tried to explain himself. I saw Sanga. No, I saw Sect Leader Jin reach behind his back, and I didn't know if he was going to. Jing Guanyao looked down at the sword that had penetrated him. His lips quivered. He clearly wanted to speak, but thanks to the silence spell, there was nothing he could say in his own defense. Wow. Wow, this is so good. Wei Wuxian noticed something was off, but before he could raise any questions, Jing Guanyao coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Lan Qichen! He cried in a raspy voice. Surprisingly, he had managed to break the silence spell by force. Damn. Jing Guanyao was covered in injuries. His left hand had been burnt by the corrosive smoke, his right had been severed, and he was missing a chunk of his midriff. He was stained in blood from head to toe. Though he could barely sit up, he somehow managed to get to his feet, perhaps thanks to a sudden burst of his remaining strength. Lan Qichen! He cried again, voice full of hate. Lan Qichen looked both disappointed and despondent in equally severe measure. Sect Leader Jin, I said that I would not show mercy if you made another move. Jing Guanyao scoffed brutally, then rebutted. Yes, you just said that, but did I do anything at all? Oh, fuck, he's so pissed. Oh my god. He had always been gentle and graceful in front of others, but now wore a vulgar, savage face more suited to the streets. At the sight of this complete reversal, Lan Qichen also sensed something was wrong. He immediately turned to look at Ni Huaisong. Jing Guanyao burst out laughing. Enough! Why bother even looking at him? What could you possibly detect? Even I didn't notice anything after all these years. Good one, Huaisong. Ni Huaisong's mouth gaped open as if he'd been scared mute by the sudden accusation. To think I'd fall like this. By your hand! Jing Guanyao spat hatefully. He forced himself to remain upright. He clearly wanted to walk over to Ni Huaisong, but there was still a sword piercing his heart. He took a single step and immediately grimaced in pain. Unable to either deal him a finishing blow or recklessly pull the blade free, Lan Qichen could only blurt, "Don't move!" Oh my god. This is so good. Lan Qichen, who did pierce his heart, now can't finish it, but he also can't pull it out. Oh, it's like this is the absolute worst case scenario he could ever be in. It's like you can't have one foot in and one foot out, dude. You had one foot in and one foot out for the longest time. You were defending Jing Guanyao while also being a good guy. You were on his side while also being suspicious of him. And now you have the sword through his fucking heart. Ugh. Jing Guanyao couldn't move another step regardless. He gripped the hilt of the blade protruding from his chest and remained where he stood. After coughing out another mouthful of blood, he began to speak. Head shaker indeed. No wonder. Excellent work, concealing yourself for so many years. Ni Huaisong pleaded in a shuddering voice. Qichen-ge, you have to believe me. I really did see him. You! Snarled Jing Guanyao with a scowl. He lunged forward in an attempt to tackle Ni Huaisong, and the sword pushed another inch into his chest. Do not move! Lan Qichen shouted. He'd suffered so many losses at Jing Guanyao's hands, fallen for so many of his lies. He couldn't help but remain vigilant, afraid Jing Guanyao was attempting to distract him in a moment of desperation, going on the attack simply because Ni Huaisong had exposed what he was about to do behind Lan Qichen's back. Jing Guanyao understood the look in his eyes and laughed with sheer anger. Lan Qichen, all my life I've lied to countless people, and I've harmed countless others. It's just like you said. I killed my father, killed my brothers, killed my wife, killed my son, killed my teachers, killed my friends. I've committed every crime there is. He inhaled deeply, then rasped out, but never have I ever wanted to hurt you. Oh. Man. And this is why, this is why he's so pissed that he died by Lan Xichen's hand. He's just like he knows it's a misunderstanding. He knows, and he knows that this is Ni Huaisung's fault, truly. He's like, in this game that he played his entire life of manipulating everyone, this was his one safe guy that he knew would never harm him, because he never wanted to harm him, and in the end he died by his hand. Lan Xichen was stunned. Panting, Jing Guanyao gripped the hilt of Lan Xichen's sword and clenched his teeth. Who saved you from disaster, back when the cloud recesses burned to the ground and you were on the run? And who put forth the utmost effort to provide assistance when the Lan Clan of Gusu was rebuilding their home? In all these years, have I ever wronged the Lan Clan? Was there ever an occasion when I didn't support you in every way? Aside from temporarily sealing your spiritual powers tonight, when have I ever done wrong by your clan? When have I ever demanded you repay your debt? Whoa. The fact that he thinks Lan Xichen owes him a debt is interesting too. Who saved you from disaster back when the cloud recesses burned to the ground and you were on the run? Wow. His questions left Lan Xichen unable to bring himself to cast the silence spell again, and so Jing Guanyao continued. Su Minshan went this far to repay my kindness simply because I remembered his name. But you, Zewujan, Sect Leader Lan, just like Ni Mingjue, you cannot tolerate me. You won't even give me a way to live. Oh girl, please. He loved you. He was literally in love with you, okay? And you fucked it up in the end. You fucked it up. Truly. When he was done speaking, Jing Guanyao abruptly backed away, forcibly drawing Shuoye from his chest. Don't let him get away, Zhang Cheng shouted. Lan Xichen rushed forward, effortlessly seizing him again in a few steps. Jing Guanyao couldn't have gotten far in the state he was in, no matter how fast he ran. Even Jin Ling could have caught him with his eyes closed. He was wounded in numerous places, and had been dealt a fatal strike to the heart. There was no need for them to take precautions. It suddenly hit Wei Wuxian. He's not trying to escape! Zewujan, get away from him! He shouted. It was already too late. Blood from Jing Guanyao's severed limb had dripped onto the coffin. It crawled over Wei Wuxian's drawings, ruining the spell and flowing beneath the lid and into the coffin itself. Oh, fuck. He's setting off the fucking bomb! Ni Mingjue burst through the coffin seal. The coffin lid shattered to pieces. One large, ghastly pale hand seized Jing Guanyao by the neck, and the other hand reached for Lan Xichen's throat. Jing Guanyao wasn't trying to escape. With his last breath, he was trying to draw Lan Xichen to Ni Mingjue so they could perish together! I like how it was phrased as so they could perish together, not so he could fucking murder Lan Xichen while he also died, you know? It's like, oh, if I die, you die too. It's like, that's a crazy line. Wangji summoned Bishan with lightning speed, and it shot forth in their direction. But Ni Mingjue had no fear of such spiritual weapons. Even if Bishan struck him, it likely couldn't stop him from closing the minuscule distance between his hand and Lan Xichen's neck. And yet, just when Ni Mingjue's hand was mere millimeters from its target, Jing Guanyao used his remaining left hand to shove Lan Xichen's chest, pushing him out of reach of Ni Mingjue's grasp. Oh, true love prevails. Oh my god. If he in the end fucking killed Lan Xichen like that, Oh, but he didn't let him die in the very end. Oh my god. That makes me believe all his feelings were real, you know? Oh my god. Man. In the same moment, Ni Mingjue dragged Jing Guanyao into the coffin by the neck, then raised him to dangle like a rag doll. It was a horrifying tableau. Jing Guanyao was clawing at Ni Mingjue's iron-like grip, struggling and writhing from the pain. Ferocity flashed in his eyes as he fought, his hair loose and wild. With all he had, he yelled, "Ni Mingjue, you motherfucker! You think I'm actually afraid of you? With difficulty, he choked out a mouthful of blood. Everyone present heard an unusually cruel, loud crack. A gagged whimper escaped Jing Guanyao's throat. Oh, come on, that couldn't have just been the end? You had to add in the whimper? Jinling's shoulders shuddered. He shut his eyes, covered his ears, afraid to listen or look any longer. The push had sent Lan Qichen staggering back several steps. He had yet to realize what had happened during that split second. Lan Wangji, on the other hand, smacked the back of the beautiful Guanyin statue. The impact shook the statue and sent it flying towards Ni Mingjue, who was still scrutinizing the crooked-necked corpse in his hands. The heavy Guanyin statue struck him so hard that he toppled back into the coffin. Wei Wuxian leaped up and stood on the Guanyin statue's chest. The lid of the coffin had been cracked, so he had to use the statue in its place to seal the berserk of Ni Mingjue, who struck the statue again and again with his palm in attempts to get out from underneath. Wei Wuxian wobbled and swayed unsteadily with each strike, almost thrown off. After teetering a few times, he realized there was no way he could draw a spell like this. Lan Jian, quick! Come up here with me so we have another person's weight. A few more blows and this Guanyin statue is going to fall apart. Before he could finish, Wei Wuxian suddenly felt his body and line of sight slant. Lan Wangji had grabbed one end of the coffin and lifted it. More specifically, he had raised the heavy solid wood coffin off the floor using only his left hand. A coffin with 2 dead people inside, and a Guanyin statue, and Wei Wuxian on top. What? Wei Wuxian's jaw dropped. Even if he had long known that Lan Wangji had astoundingly strong arms, this was still flabbergastingly beyond belief. Lan Wangji's expression remained unchanged as he brandished a silver guqin string. The string whirled itself around the coffin and the Guanyin statue dozen of times, firmly binding both together. What? How was he just able to lift everything? That's crazy. A second and a third string followed. Once he determined that Ni Mingjue and Jing Guanyao had been securely sealed off, he hastily released his grip on the end of the coffin. That end crashed to the ground with a thunderous noise. Wei Wuxian tilted with it, and Lan Wangji caught him before steadily setting him on the ground. The same hands that had just grappled with such a hefty weight held Wei Wuxian with the utmost gentleness. Lan Qichen stared blankly at the coffin, which had been bound and sealed with 7 guqin strings. He was still out of sorts. Ni Huaisong reached out a hand and waved it in front of him. Qichen ga? He called out, terrified. Are you okay? Huaisong, Lan Qichen began. Was he really trying to sneak up on me earlier? I think so, Ni Huaisong said. Oh my god. Hearing him stammer, Lan Qichen pressed him. Think about it again, carefully. I can't be sure when you ask me like that, Ni Huaisong said. It really did look like it. Stop dithering, Lan Qichen snapped. Was he or was he not? Put on the spot, Ni Huaisong said. I don't know. I really don't know. Whenever Ni Huaisong was pushed into a corner, he would only repeat that phrase. Lan Qichen buried his head in his hands, looking like he had a splitting headache and did not want to speak any further. It really was the perfect downfall to Jing Guanyao. And unfortunately Lan Qichen had to be involved in that for it to be that perfect. Orion, yes! Thank you for your donation. Orion says, I kind of love that Jiggy spends his whole life being perfect and spotless, and then he dies bloody, messy, and cursing. Yeah, I love how he said, "Demon, you motherfucker!" It's like, that's what he never got to say. Like, he had that dog in him all along. Like, I bet saying motherfucker right there felt so good. The feeling of freedom, calling Mingjoy a motherfucker, made the pain of his neck cracking not even feelable. Huaisong Shang. Wei Wuxian suddenly piped up. Huh? Ni Huaisong said. How did Susha manage to stab you earlier? Oh fuck, did he fucking stab himself? Ni Huaisong, Ni Huaisong, Ni Huaisong. Oh my god. What's the thing? It's like there's the worm and the other thing and then the bird. Oh my god, this bastard! Ah! Dearsy, oh my god, thank you so much for being a member for 16 months! I really appreciate that, Dearsy. Says, damn late and missed the confession. Also, woo, 16 months. Maybe I'll catch the extras. Oh yeah, the extras will be fun. Esper Lady says, Ni Huaisong is so crafty. Yes. Ni Huaisong was the Oriole. I can't remember what the other birds were in that. The cicady and the sparrow and the oriole. Do orioles eat sparrows? He was, how did Susha manage to stab you earlier? He was fleeing with Sanga, Ni Huaisong corrected himself. Oh, a mantis stalks a worm, unaware that an oriole is behind it. Right, he eats the mantis. Okay. He was fleeing with Sanga, Ni Huaisong corrected himself, with sect leader Jin on his back, and I was in his way, so... Really? Wei Wuxian questioned. As I recall, the spot where you stood wasn't in the path of their escape at all. Would I seriously have bumped into him to get stabbed on purpose? Ni Huaisong said. Wei Wuxian smiled. I didn't say that. Then what are you trying to say, Wei Shang? Ni Huaisong asked. It's just that I've suddenly pieced together a few things, Wei Wuxian said. What things? Ni Huaisong said. Jing Guanyao said that someone sent him a letter, threatening to tell the world about everything he had done once 7 days had passed, Wei Wuxian said. If we assume he was telling the truth, that he wasn't lying, the letter writer was doing something unnecessary. If you wanted to expose someone's crimes, why not just expose them outright? Why make a point of notifying them that you had evidence of their guilt in your hands? Didn't sect leader Jin say that the letter writer wanted him to make the decision to confess and apologize for his crimes? Please, wake up, Wei Wuxian said. You don't have to be a genius to know that Jing Guanyao would never choose to confess or apologize. What would be the point? It seemed meaningless on the surface, but would a person capable of digging up all of Jing Guanyao's dirty little secrets do something so pointless? There must have been a reason for that apparently needless act. They wanted to make something happen. They wanted the letter to provoke something. Provoke? Lan Qichen asked blankly. Provoke what? Jing Guanyao's intent to kill, Wangji replied in a low voice. Zewujan would have realized this as well if he had been his usual self, but he was likely too preoccupied to consider the possibility right now. That's right, Wei Wuxian said. It was the letter that catapulted Jing Guanyao's killing intent to an unprecedented level. Didn't it say he should wait for death to claim him in 7 days? If that was the case, he'd make the first move within those 7 days. He'd wipe out the main forces of the other clans at the burial mounds and see who'd be the one to die first. You are saying that was what the letter writer wanted? Lan Qichen wondered. It was all to spur him into taking action? That's what I think, Wei Wuxian answered. Lan Qichen shook his head. Then what was the letter writer trying to accomplish? Were they trying to expose Jing Guanyao? Massacre the other clans? It's simple, Wei Wuxian said. Look at what happened after the siege failed. Sisi and Bisao came out calling at Lotus Pier, where everyone was assembled and emotions were running high. I don't think the arrival of those 2 witnesses was a coincidence. Things kept building up until they came to a head. After a pause, he continued. The letter writer didn't just want Jing Guanyao to lose his standing and fall from grace. They also wanted him to become public enemy #1. This is the theme of the book! And it all happened to be in one single critical hit. There could be absolutely no room for Jing Guanyao to turn the tide in his favor. Sounds like they've been plotting for a long time, Ni Huaisang commented. Wei Wuxian looked at him, then suddenly asked a question. Oh right, wasn't Qi Fengzhen's body left with Sect Leader Ni for safekeeping? It was in my custody at first, Ni Huaisang replied, but I received news tonight that my Daga's body had disappeared from Qinghe without a trace. Why else do you think I was rushing home? I even wound up being kidnapped by Su Sha on the way. Sect Leader Ni, I heard you often travel between the Lan clan of Gusu and the Jin clan of Lanling. Is that true? Wei Wuxian asked. Yeah, Ni Huaisang answered. Then how do you really not know Mo Shanyu? Huh? I remembered the first time I met you after the sacrificial ritual succeeded, Wei Wuxian said. You acted like you didn't know me at all. You even asked Heng Guanzhen who I was. Mo Shanyu had pestered Jing Guanyao a great deal in the past and was even able to access the manuscripts in his collection. And you often went looking for Sect Leader Jin to pour out your woes. You might not have been well acquainted with Mo Shanyu, but had you really never even seen him once? Ni Huaisang scratched his head. Wei Shang, Golden Carp Tower is so big. I couldn't possibly have met everyone there, and even if I had, I couldn't possibly remember them all. Besides, he looked somewhat embarrassed as he continued. You know what Mo Shanyu was like. He was a little... The Jin clan of Lanling did the best they could to hide him away. It isn't so strange that I'd never seen him before. Even Qicheng might not have met him. Lan Xunan's like, I definitely know who Mo Shanyu is. Oh, that's true, Wei Wuxian said. Zewujian didn't know Mo Shanyu either. Right? Ni Huaisang exclaimed. And there's one thing I don't understand. Even if I had seen Mo Shanyu before, why would I deliberately pretend not to know him? Why would I need to do that? Wei Wuxian smiled. It's nothing. I just found it strange and wanted to ask. Inwardly, he said, to probe if this Mo Shanyu was the real Mo Shanyu, of course. How would Mo Shanyu, who was said to be timid and weak-willed, have had the courage to offer up his body through suicide? Why would Qi Fengzhen's left arm have been tossed out into the world? Could Jing Guanyao have let it escape due to an oversight? And why did it just so happen to show up at Mo Manor, where the sacrificial ritual had been carried out and where a newly reborn Wei Wuxian would encounter it? Oh my god, the novel's wrapping up, guys. Qi Fengzhen's corpse had been laid to rest by the Ni clan of Qinghe. Had Ni Huaisang, who always respected his elder brother, really not noticed the corpse had been swapped for all these years? Thus, Wei Wuxian was more inclined to believe in the following scenario. Perhaps Ni Huaisang really had been a headshaker before Ni Mingjui's passing. After Ni Mingjui's death, however, he went from knowing nothing to knowing everything, including the fact that Ni Mingjui's corpse had been swapped in the true colors of the Sangha he had once trusted. He had attempted to find his elder brother's body, but after many years of hardship, all he could find was Ni Mingjui's left arm. He had been stuck, unable to find any clues to guide him to the next step. What's more, the left arm was unusually ferocious and difficult to subdue. Keeping it by his side would only lead to more bloodshed. And then someone came to mind, a person who was most adept in dealing with these kinds of creatures and these kinds of problems. The Yiling Patriarch. But the Yiling Patriarch had been torn to shreds. What was he to do? So yet another person came to mind, Mo Shanyu, who had been banished from Golden Carp Tower. In the past, Ni Huaisang might have chatted with Mo Shanyu to glean information from him. From the mouth of the dejected Mo Shanyu, Ni Huaisang had learned that he'd read one of Jing Guanyao's fragmented manuscripts of forbidden magic, in which an ancient evil ritual was recorded. He had then incited Mo Shanyu to exact revenge for the humiliation he'd suffered at the hands of his own clan members, to use the forbidden art of the sacrificial ritual to seek retribution. Jeez! And which malicious ghost should he invite in? The Yiling Patriarch, of course. Unable to bear living any longer, Mo Shanyu had finally activated the blood array, and Ni Huaisang had seized the opportunity to toss out the hot potato he could barely hold on to begin with, Qi Fengzhen's left arm. The plan moved forward successfully after that. He no longer needed to go to the trouble of personally seeking Ni Mingjui's remaining limbs. Instead, he left everything dangerous or complicated to Wei Wuxian and Wangji, needing only to keep a close watch on their movements. Wow. That's crazy. The whole novel took place because of Ni Huaisang. The strange incidents involving murdered cats that Jin Ling, Lan Sizhui, and Lan Jingyi and the other juniors had encountered on their journey had clearly been the work of someone deliberately staging bizarre phenomena, coupled with the non-existent huntsman at the nearby village who had given them directions. There was no doubt that the intent had been to lure the naive juniors into Yi City. After all, if Wei Wuxian and Wangji had slipped up and failed to protect them, Jing Guanyao would likely be blamed for anything untoward that befell the juniors there. Does that mean Ni Huaisang wanted the juniors to get harmed? That's crazy. In any case, the more chips there were in play to convict Jing Guanyao of his crimes, the better. The more mistakes he could tempt this prudent villain to make, the better the evidence to use against him. And the more tragic the fate that befell him, the better. Lan Wangji used the tip of Bishan to turn over the black chest beside the coffin and glanced at the spell engraved on it. "The head," he said to Wei Wuxian. The chest had likely been used to contain Ni Mingjui's head. Jing Guanyao had probably buried it here after transferring it out of Golden Carp Tower. Wei Wuxian nodded to him. "Sect Leader Ni, do you know what was originally contained in this coffin?" "How would I know?" Ni Huaisang answered. "But given how how Sect Leader Jin looked, I guess it was probably something very important to him." "Coffins are, of course, used to house the dead," Wei Wuxian said. "My guess is that the corpse was buried here was Jing Guanyao's mother, Meng Shi. He came here tonight to retrieve her body and take it with him as he escaped to Dongying." Lan Qichen was stunned, speechless. "Damn. Oh yeah, that makes sense," Ni Huaisang exclaimed aloud as understanding dawned on him. "What do you think they'll do with his mother's body now that they've dug it up?" Wei Wuxian asked. "Wei Shang, why do you keep asking me?" Ni Huaisang said. "I don't know, and that's not going to change no matter how many times you ask." After a pause, he added, "However," Ni Huaisang slowly gathered up his hair, which had been drenched by the rainstorm. "Since they hate Jing Guanyao so much, they'd probably be extraordinarily ruthless with something he valued as dearly as his life, right? For example, dismembering the corpse and discarding the pieces in various places, just like what was done to Qi Fengzhen," Wei Wuxian asked. Greatly shocked, Ni Huaisang took a few steps back. That's too vicious." Wei Wuxian stared at him for a while, but eventually averted his gaze. Conjecture was only conjecture after all. None of them had evidence. Oh, man. The fact that Jing Guanyao came here to get his mom's body, like, that was, like, the one thing that, like, mattered to him. Yeah, Carawace, I noticed the similarities to Moran's backstory as well. Totally. It's so heartbreaking. Man. Orion's Belt says, "I like how Wei Wuxian's like, well, Ni Huaisang could be behind anything, but could be behind everything, but I don't know and I don't care." Perhaps the blank, helpless expression on Ni Huaisang's face was a mask. He could be reluctant to admit that he treated others as his pawns, placed no value on their lives. Or maybe there was more to his plan, and he wanted to keep concealing his true colors so he could hatch more schemes, achieve greater goals. Or maybe it wasn't that complicated at all. Maybe it was someone else who had delivered the letter, killed the cats, and sewed Ni Mingjui's head and body together. Maybe Ni Huaisang was simply a bona fide good-for-nothing. Maybe the last words Jing Guanyao had said were merely lies he devised after Ni Huaisang cried out and exposed his attempt to launch a sneak attack, all for the sake of throwing Lan Xichen's mind into turmoil so that Jing Guanyao could seize the opportunity to perish with him at his side. It always comes back to that. It always comes back to something extremely gay with them, at the very least. After all, Jing Guanyao was a professional liar and notorious for his misdeeds. No matter when he lied or what he lied about, it would come as no surprise. As for why he changed his mind at the last second and shoved Lan Xichen away, who could ever know what he was really thinking? Man, I love that! I love that so much! Oh my god, it's so juicy! Ugh. Veins bulged on the back of the hand with which Lan Xichen clutched his head. What did he want? He murmured. I used to think I knew him very well. Later, I realized I did not. Before tonight, I thought I had renewed my understanding of him, but now I once again find myself at a loss. No one could give him an answer. Lan Xichen repeated, What exactly did he want? Lan Xichen was the one who had been closest to Jing Guanyao. If he did not know, the others were even less likely to. After a moment of silence, Wei Wuxian said, Let's stop standing around doing nothing. We'll pick a few people to go fetch help, and the rest will stay here to watch this thing. Those Guqin strings won't be able to keep Qifengzun in the coffin for long. As if to confirm his assessment, a wave of thunderous noise sounded from inside the coffin, indicating a nameless fury. Ni Huaisang shuddered. Wei Wuxian cast a glance at him. See, we have to replace it immediately, with an even more secure and solid coffin, and rebury it in a deep pit where it cannot be unearthed for at least a century. If it is opened, I guarantee the evil will persist, with endless troubles to follow. He had yet to finish his sentence when a clear, resounding bark rang out in the distance. Wei Wuxian's expression changed at once, but Jinling managed to perk up a little. Fairy! I really like the line that Wei Wuxian had said earlier about how, like, maybe it's not that complicated. Like, so many things people are assuming that it's like you're the mastermind for absolutely everything. Or maybe it was not that complicated. Maybe it was kind of simple. Maybe Ni Huaisang was planning to do all kinds of evil things. Or maybe it was a lot simpler than that. Like, a lot of this involves revenge, you know? I'd like someone to write out, like, the themes of revenge not being the answer in Modazushi, you know? Like, Jing Guanyao wanted revenge for not being respected, and Ni Huaisang wanted revenge for his brother being killed. Shui Yang wanted revenge for his pinky being dismembered. Kate, you missed all the Xiao! No! The pinky is so trivial compared to everything else. And Shui Yang's revenge was maybe the most fucked up of all. Even though he had, like, the littlest thing done to him, he kind of took, like, the craziest, evilest revenge. Wei Wuxian deserves the most revenge, but doesn't care. Yeah. Kate, you have to go back in the stream and listen to the part where Jing Guanyao dies. It's crazy. The whole world wanted revenge on the Wens because of their last name. True. That's true, Orion. It was more than just his pinky. But yeah. The claps of thunder had died down and the downpour had dwindled to a drizzle. The darkest hours of the night had already passed, and dawn was breaking. The soaking wet, black-haired spirit dog pumped its legs as it dashed towards them like a gust of black wind. It pounced at Jinling and clung to its master's leg while standing on its hind limbs, whimpering all the while. Its round, doggy eyes were damp. Oh, he's crying in happiness. Wei Wuxian saw its long red tongue flick out from between its sharp, snow-white fangs to lick Jinling's hand, and his face blanched equally white. Eyes blank and mouth agape, he felt as if his soul was about to turn into a wisp of smoke and take leave of his body to ascend to the heavens. Wangji silently stood in front of him to shield him and block his view of Fairy. A moment later, hundreds of people surrounded the Guanyin temple. Each wore a vigilant expression, swords drawn as if ready to start killing at any moment. But when those leading the charge into the temple got a clear look at the scene before them, they were stunned. There were dead bodies sprawled everywhere the eye could see, and anyone who wasn't dead could barely stand upright. The temple grounds were littered with corpse and wreckage. It's so upsetting that Jing Wenyao just wanted to get his mom and run out of there. I'm not forgiving him for anything bad he did, but it's so upsetting. He wanted to just dig up his mom's corpse and just go to Dongying. Two people had led the charge, swords at the ready. The one on the left was the Jiang clan of Yunmeng's chief of affairs, while the one on the right was astonishingly Lan Qiren. Surprise and bewilderment were written on his face. Before he could open his mouth to ask questions, the first thing he saw was Wangji stuck so close to Wei Wuxian that they were almost one person. In that instant, he forgot everything he had to say. Fury washed over his face. His long brows knitted, and his indignant huffing sent his beard quivering and bristling. The chief of affairs hurried forward to support Zhang Cheng. I ship it! Sect leader, you're all right? Lan Qiren raised his sword and bellowed, Wei! He was cut off by several figures in white who rushed out from behind him, yelling, Hengguanzhen! Wei Qianbei! Patriarch Qianbei! The last boy bumped into Lan Qiren, almost causing him to fall over. Smoking with anger from his 7 apertures, he barked, No hurried walking! No clamoring! Other than Wangji, who greeted him with Shufu, no one else paid him any mind. Lan Sizhui grabbed Wangji's sleeve with one hand and Wei Wuxian's arm with the other. This is great! Hengguanzhen, Wei Qianbei, you're both okay, he said with delight. We saw how anxious Fairy was and thought you might be in a tricky situation. Sizhui, are you confused or something? Lan Jingyi said. How could there ever be a situation Hengguanzhen can't resolve? I told you not to worry for nothing. Jingyi, wasn't it you who was worrying for nothing on the way here? Go away! Don't blabber nonsense! Lan Sizhui spotted Wen Ning, who had finally managed to crawl upright, out of the corner of his eye. He immediately grabbed him and pulled him into the circle of boys, who all began to talk over each other and recount what had happened. After Fairy had bitten Susha, it had run until it found a clan affiliated with the Jiang clan of Yunmeng that was stationed near the town. It had barked furiously at their door to sound the alarm. The junior head of the family had seen the special collar around its neck, marked with golden motif, family crest, and other such things, and had immediately determined that this was a spirit dog of significance with a distinguished owner. Then he noticed the blood on its claws and fur. The dog had clearly been in a fight, most likely because its owner was in danger. Not daring to dismiss the urgency of the situation, the man immediately took the dog and rode to Lotus Pier on his sword to notify the region's real boss, the Jiang clan of Yunmeng. The chief of affairs instantly recognized it as Fairy, the spirit dog belonging to the little young master Jinling, and promptly sent reinforcements. The cultivators of the Lan clan of Gusu had been about to leave Lotus Pier right around then, but Fairy stopped Lan Qiren. It had leapt up and torn a thin strip of white fabric from the hem of Lan Sizhui's robes, then pulled it over its head with his paws, like it was trying to wrap it around his head. Then it laid down and played dead. Oh my god! Wangji stuck in a well? Fairy is the fucking best dog. Oh my god. That's so cute. Lan Qiren had been baffled, but Lan Sizhui had a sudden flash of insight. Shencheng, does it not look like it's imitating our clan's forehead ribbon? Fairy put on the forehead ribbon and then was like, Wangji's dead. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Is it trying to tell us that Hengguanzhen or other members of the Lan clan are in danger? And so, the Jiang clan of Yunmeng, the Lan clan of Gusu, and several other clans that had yet to leave Lotus Pier had all gathered their manpower and come here to render assistance. Lan Jingyi clicked his tongue. We keep calling it fairy, fairy, but who would have thought it really is a spirit dog? He praised in a wondering tone. But no matter how spiritual or intelligent it may be, as far as Wei Wuxian was concerned, it was still a dog, the scariest creature in the world. Even with Lan Wangji standing in front of him, goosebumps spread all over his body. Ever since the juniors from the Lan clan came in, Jinling had been stealing glances in their direction, watching them clamor around Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji. Seeing the color gradually leave Wei Wuxian's face, he patted Fairy on the butt and whispered, "Fairy, go outside." Fairy wagged its tail and continued to lick him. "Go out, or are you disobeying me?" Jinling chided. Fairy threw him a plaintive look, then obediently darted out of the temple with its tail wagging. Only then did Wei Wuxian heave a sigh of relief. Jinling tossed out Fairy for Wei Wuxian's sake. That is very cute. Jinling wanted to go over, but embarrassment held him back. As he continued to hesitate, Lan Sizhui suddenly saw something hanging at Wei Wuxian's waist. His entire body froze for a moment. "Wei Qianbei?" What?" Wei Wuxian asked. Lan Sizhui sounded like he was in a daze as he asked, Can I take a look at your flute?" Wei Wuxian grabbed it and offered it to him. "Something wrong with it?" Lan Sizhui took the flute with both hands and frowned slightly, looking a little perplexed. Lan Wangji watched him, while Wei Wuxian looked at Lan Wangji. "What's with your clan Sizhui? Does he like my flute?" "Huh? You finally discarded that lousy, out-of-tune flute of yours?" Lan Jingyi blurted in surprise. "This new flute looks pretty decent." He didn't know that this decent new flute was the very spiritual weapon he'd always been dying to catch a glimpse of, the legendary hell flute Cheng. He merely thought to himself with glee, "This is great. At least now, when he and Heng Guanzhen play duets, he won't look as much of a disgrace as he used to. Good God, that old flute was really ugly and horrible sounding." "Sizhui," Lan Wangji called out. Only then did Lan Sizhui snap back to his senses. He returned Cheng to Wei Wuxian with both hands. "Wei Qianbei." Wei Wuxian took the flute, then remembered Jiang Cheng was the one who had brought it here. He turned to Jiang Cheng. "Thanks," Wei Wuxian casually said, then raised Cheng. "I'll keep this then?" Jiang Cheng glanced at him. "It was yours to begin with." After a moment of hesitation, his lips moved slightly, as if he still had something to say. But Wei Wuxian had already turned back to Lan Wangji, and seeing this, Jiang Cheng fell silent and said nothing else. Oh. I mean, that's what you get, right? It's nice that he had some sort of kind sentiment in his heart, but that's kind of what you get. Some of the people present were cleaning up the scene, some were reinforcing the seal on the coffin, and some were discussing how to transport it safely. Some, however, were angry. "Qichen, what on earth is wrong with you?" Lan Qiren fumed. "How could you be so fucking gay?" Lan Qichen pressed his temple, face heavy with unspeakable melancholy. "Shufu, please, I beg you, stop asking," he answered with audible weariness. "I really do not wish to speak right now." Lan Qiren had raised Lan Qichen single-handedly, and he had never seen him look so agitated and restless, so undignified and unbecoming. He looked at him, then at Lan Wangji, who stood with Wei Wuxian, surrounded by the juniors. The more he looked, the more he fumed. Neither of these two previously flawless pupils would heed him anymore. Both were now sources of worry. The coffin that held Ni Mingjue and Jing Guanyao wasn't just abnormally heavy, but had also had to be treated with the utmost care. As such, several family heads volunteered to transport it. That's so sad that both his nephews, they're so, Well, I mean, it's sad for Lan Qichen, happy for Lan Wangji, he's just homophobic. Or Wei Wuxian phobic at the least. One of those family heads saw the face of the Guanyin statue. He was taken aback at first, then directed the others to look at it too, as if he discovered something novel. "Look at its face! Doesn't it look like Jing Guanyao?" When the others saw it, they clicked their tongues in wonder. It really is his face. Why would Jing Guanyao make such a thing? "To arrogantly proclaim himself God, I wager," sect leader Yao stated. "That is so very arrogant. Heh heh heh." Not necessarily, Wei Wuxian thought. Oh man. Creature, thank you for your donation. Creature says, I tuned in at such a good part. I love these homosexual menaces to society. Right? Oh my gosh, it is a good part. Thank you so much for donating. Glad that you're here. Everyone regarded Jing Guanyao's mother as the lowest of prostitutes, and so he had insisted on carving this Guanyin statue in the likeness of his mother so she would be worshipped by millions of people who would kowtow to her and offer her incense. But there was no point in saying any of that now. Wei Wuxian knew better than anyone that nobody would believe it or care. Oh my god. He made a statue of his mom so people would worship her because they treated her so terribly. That's so upsetting. That's so upsetting. Anything involving Jing Guanyao would be met with only the most malicious of speculation, and gossip would spread the speculation across the land. Not long after, the coffin would be sealed with an even larger and more secure one, then nailed shut with 72 peachwood pegs and buried deep beneath some mountain to keep its evil suppressed. And there it would remain, accompanied by a stone tablet to warn passerbys of the danger. And those sealed within would also remain confined for eternity, reviled by all, never to be absolved. Ni Huaisang leaned against the door frame and watched as several heads of families lifted the coffin across the threshold of the Guanyin temple. He lowered his head and patted the dirt from the front of his robes. He paused for a moment, as though he had seen something. Wei Wuxian looked over as well. There was something left behind on the ground. It was Jin Guanyao's cap. Ni Huaisang bent to pick it up before strolling out the door. Oh, that's... just like how Jing Guanyao kept Ni Mingjui's head! Oh my god! That's so good! Oh, that makes me feel so sick. That's so gross. Oh man, that's so good. That's so good. Like you could just see that moment in a movie, right? Oh. This is my hat now. This is totally my hat now. Damn. Fairy barked a few times as it waited anxiously for its master outside. Hearing it, Jinling suddenly remembered that Jing Guanyao had been the one who had given him Fairy, when it was still a clumsy puppy that didn't even reach his knees. Jinling had only been so old at that time. He just had a fight with the other children in Golden Carp Tower, and though he'd won, he didn't find it gratifying at all. He had been in a frenzy, smashing things in his room and wailing at the top of his lungs. No maids or servants dared to get close to him for fear they would be hit by flying objects. But his little uncle had been all smiles when he poked his head into his room to ask him, "Aling, what's wrong?" Jinling had immediately smashed 5 or 6 vases at Jing Guanyao's feet. "Oh goodness, so fierce, how scary," Jing Guanyao had replied. Then he had left, shaking his head and looking terribly scared. Jinling had still been in a huff when the next day came, refusing to leave his room or eat. Jing Guanyao had hung around the entrance to his chamber. Bracing his back against the door, Jinling had only just yelled, "Leave me alone!" when a puppy's barks suddenly rang out. He opened the door, only to see Jing Guanyao crouching there, holding in his arms a tiny black-haired puppy with round, shining eyes. Jing Guanyao had looked up and smiled at him. "I found this little thing, but I don't know what to call it. Aling, do you want to give it a name?" That smile had been so gentle and sincere that Jinling refused to believe Jing Guanyao had been faking it. All of a sudden, tears tumbled from his eyes once more. it's like he never hurt Jinling until the very end, you know? And the fact that he was the one that understood more than anyone, like, just being young and in pain, you know? I'm sure Jing Guanyao thought when he was younger, I would love if somebody gave me a dog. That really was something totally just done out of kindness, you know? He got him the little dog. He was the only one that reached him in that moment. Jinling had always thought that crying was a sign of weakness and incompetence, and scoffed at such behavior. But right now, he had no way to release the anguish and indignation in his heart other than shedding an ocean of tears. Somehow, there didn't seem to be anyone he could blame, or anyone he could hate. Wei Wuxian, Jing Guanyao, Wen Ning, he should hold every one of them responsible for his parents' deaths. He had good reason to loathe each of them, but they all seemed like they had their reasons, and it left him unable to hate them. But if he didn't hate them, who could he hate? Had he deserved to lose both parents at such a young age? Was this how he would be forced to live, unable to seek revenge on his enemies, but also unable to loathe them without qualms? He couldn't take this lying down. He couldn't help but feel aggrieved, how he yearned to perish with them and be done with it. Sect Leader Yao saw him staring at the coffin, crying soundlessly. Jin Xiaogongzi, why are you crying? Are you crying over Jing Guanyao? When Jingling was silent, Sect Leader Yao began to chide him in a tone that elders used to reprove their juniors. Why are you crying? Stop those tears. A man like your uncle is not worth crying for. Xiaogongzi, pardon me for saying this, but you can't be so weak. This is the soft-heartedness of a woman. You must know what is right and what is wrong. You should correct your... When the Jin clan of Lanling's family head had still been the cultivation chief who oversaw all the clans, the other family heads would never have dared assume the air of an elder and lecture a Jin clan junior. But Jing Guanyao was now dead, and there was no one in the Jin clan of Lanling who could take his mantle. The Jin clan's reputation was more or less ruined. They would likely never rise to the top again, and so those who dared posture had already begun to come out of the woodwork. Jinling was drowning in a sea of thoughts and emotions. Fury welled up within him to hear Sect Leader Yao rambling about his personal judgment on the matter while gesticulating here and there. So what if I want to cry? He hollered. Who are you? Who do you think you are? What do you care if I cry? Sect Leader Yao had clearly not expected his lecture to be so thoroughly rebuffed, nor that he'd wind up being the one getting yelled at. He promptly pulled a long face. Forget it, the others advised him in a hushed tone. Don't bother yourself with children. Only then was he able to rein in his rage at being humiliated. He snorted coldly. That's for sure. Huh, why bother with a brat who's still wet behind the ears and can't tell right from wrong or good from evil? This is just so upsetting. Yeah, Sect Leader Yao is like, he is like the expository mouthpiece for like society, you know? And just like we were talking about with revenge, it's like, it feels good to have a source to put all your hatred on. It feels good, like, to think about there is someone you can take revenge on. But Jinling has now learned that everyone he wanted to blame and take his revenge out on, he can't. And it's so distressing. It's just, like, suffering. And, like, is that life? Sometimes you just have to cry instead of taking revenge. Lan Shiren watched over the coffin as it was transported onto the wagon. He looked back and was dumbfounded. Where's Wangji? He asked. He'd been planning to haul Wangji back to Cloud Recesses and have a long heart-to-heart talk with him for 120 days. Should that fail, he'd confine him again for a while. Who could have imagined Wangji would vanish in the blink of an eye? He circled the palace a few times and raised his voice. Where's Wangji? Lan Jingyi spoke up. Earlier I said we'd brought Little Apple with us and tethered it outside the temple, so Han Guanzhong took to see Little Apple together. He didn't want to say Wei Wuxian in front of Lan Shiren. And then? Lan Shiren demanded. What happened next was a foregone conclusion. There wasn't even a hint of Wei Wuxian, Lan Wangji, or Wen Ning's shadows to be seen outside the Guanyin temple. Lan Shiren looked at Lan Chen, who lagged absent-mindedly behind him, then heaved a heavy sigh and left with a flick of his sleeves. Lan Jingyi looked around and exclaimed in surprise, "Sizhui, what's going on? Why did Sizhui disappear too?" When Jinling heard Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji were gone, he dashed outside in a hurry, nearly tripping over the threshold of the Guanyin temple in the process. No matter how urgently he rushed, he couldn't even catch their shadows. Fairy happily circled around him, its tongue lolling as it panted. Jiang Cheng was standing under a towering tree on the Guanyin temple grounds. He glanced at him and said coldly, "Wipe your face." Jinling rubbed his eyes hard and wiped his face. Running over to Jiang Cheng, he asked, "Where are they?" "Gone," Jiang Cheng replied. "And you just let them go?" Jinling blurted. "What else was I supposed to do?" Jiang Cheng asked mockingly. "Keep them for dinner? Say thank you and then sorry?" Which he did do. He did do that, actually. He's like mocking it now, but he actually did do that. Agitated, Jinling pointed at him. "No wonder he wanted to leave. It's all because you're like this. Jojo, why are you so annoying?" Oh my god! At the very least, Jiang Cheng can fix his attitude. Jiang Cheng glared at him angrily, raising his hand as he scolded. "Is that how you speak to your elders? You're asking for a beating." Jinling flinched back, and Fairy tucked its tail between its legs. Jiang Cheng's slap never did land on the back of Jinling's head. Instead, he weakly withdrew his hand. "Shut up, Jinling. Just shut up," he said, irritated. "Let's go back. Everyone will return to their respective places." Shut up, Jinling. Just shut up. I love that. That's great. Oh. Jinling was taken aback. After a moment of hesitation, he did as he was told and shut his mouth. With his head drooping, he walked shoulder to shoulder with Jiang Cheng for a few steps before he looked up again. Creature! Thank you for your donation. I live for Jinling's character development. Yes, me too. Me too. It's really good. Jinling is Meg from Family Guy. Shut up, Meg. Jojo, were you going to say something earlier? What? Jiang Cheng said. No. Just now, Jinling persisted. I saw it. You were going to say something to Wei Wuxian, but you didn't. After a long silence, Jiang Cheng shook his head. There's nothing to say. What was there to say? Perhaps there was this. I didn't get caught by the Wen clan because I insisted on returning to Lotus Pier to retrieve my parents' bodies. When you went to buy the rations in that small town during our escape, a group of Wen cultivators caught up to us. I noticed them early and left the spot where I'd been sitting to hide in a corner of the street. I didn't get caught, but they were patrolling, and they would have surely bumped into you while you were getting us food. So I ran out and lured them away. But just as the Wei Wuxian of the past, who'd extracted his golden core for Jiang Cheng, had been unable to tell him the truth, the Jiang Cheng of the present could no longer bring himself to speak up. Oh, fuck! I didn't know that! Oh. Oh my god! Oh, fuck, that fucking changes everything! Oh, shit. Oh my god. And like the whole time we're like, what an idiot Jiang Cheng was getting caught, not being careful. And he fucking saved Wei Wuxian's life, and that's what got him caught and caused all of this. Oh, that's so painful. That's so painful. They literally went back and forth sacrificing themselves for each other. Because Jiang fucking loved him. Oh my god, like it's like, he got his core taken, at least it wasn't Wei Wuxian's, and then Wei Wuxian gave him his core. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Oh. I never knew that. They are brothers, Your Honor. Oh, fuck. And Wei Wuxian and Jiang's whole crash out about like, oh, and you saved me and now you're the hero and I'm just supposed to say thank you. It like hits even different now because he's keeping that to himself. You know how he's like, you always talk about your good deeds and you never bring them up and yada yada yada. Oh, man. It's like, oh, Jiang wouldn't have wanted that. Oh, man. Oh. Man, anyone that says they don't like Jiang, like, it's fine to not like a character, like, whatever, but, like, actually fucking hates Jiang hasn't read the fucking book, man. That's so good. That's such a good reveal, and it's so good. That's, like, such a like, oh my god, that makes the whole theme of everything just so, even so much better, too. Oh my god. Creature, thank you for donating. I am broken right now. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, man. The only characters, Scorpius says, the only characters I actually hate are Jingguan Shan, Su She, and Sect Leader Yao. Yeah. Fuck Sect Leader Yao. And Jingguan Shan. Su She served his purpose. He's almost, I don't want to say relatable, but it's almost like relatable in a cowardly sense. Of just like, if you were just the worst. You know, it's like you can't relate to Shui Yang's revenge. That's crazy. But maybe you could relate to Su She and feeling like a coward. Oh, man. Yeah, Briarbox. I got to that part. Holy shit. I can't believe I didn't fucking know that. I can't believe I have this gorgeous poster of Jiang on my wall and I didn't know that. I think the part that made me like Su She, I don't like Su She, but there was that one line where they were like, oh, obviously, Su She cast the spell of 10,000 holes on Jin Sijin because Jing Guanyao told him to, because Jing Guanyao wanted to kill his brothers so that he could ascend to the throne. And then they realized, Jing Guanyao was like, no, that's not what happened. It was a lot simpler. Su She was talked down to by Jin Sijin and wanted to enact revenge on him. And I could understand that as someone who has been talked down to and wanted to enact revenge. It's as simple as that. And I appreciated that part in the story because that helped explain the like mob mentality of people always wanting to assume there's a grandmaster at play when really sometimes it's just as simple as a little tit for tat. Man. Yo says, that's why I don't agree when someone says Jiang Cheng doesn't consider Wei Wuxian as a brother. They love each other. They do love each other. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Oh, it's so complicated, but at the end of the day, it boiled down to them both making decisions because they loved each other. Shadow Dancer, yeah. Puts more emphasis on why Jiang Cheng kept Chen Cheng. Yeah. I have to think about this now. And that was the end of the chapter. Wangshin, forgetting envy. That's so funny. I follow someone online, or is there's not someone in the chat. I know the username forgetting envy, right? And that's a fucking chapter name. That's so funny. Holy shit, that was nuts. This book is so good. Jingguan Yao. Okay, Susha, just a little revenge. Jin Sizhuan, Jin Sizhen, Wei Wuxian, Zhang Yanli all die versus Jingguan Yao. Susha, kill a dog. Fails twice, dies. Sorry, the contrast kills me. Yeah, it's true, it's true. Oh, man. There's a person on AO3 named Forgetting Envies. Yeah. Yeah. Is that the person who wrote the one where Jaylan's blind? Or am I just like outing myself for like fan fiction right now? That's so funny. Esper Lady says, love the purple man dancing as we talk about him. Ah, it is such a tragedy. It's like kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation. Kind of, right? Like you're both kind of sacrificing yourself for each other without knowing the other person's sacrificed apart for you, you know? Like, But from the state that we're currently in, I feel like Wei Wuxian and Jiang Cheng could repair their relationship. Like, thank fucking God one of them didn't die. It might take a really long time, and it might never be perfect, and who knows, maybe that one day that truth might come out, and they could be at the point where it has been so long that maybe they just laugh, and they just hug each other, and they're like, wow, that's crazy, and they're like, yup, that's crazy, and they cry. And then Jinling, who grew up to become a counselor, is like, good, it's very good to cry, actually. Instead of enacting revenge, you should just cry. Cry and then get a dog. They could now meet as equals, not one subservient to the other. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, Visual J, I'm sorry I missed your donation. I love Morazushi, but I hate Morazushi. We all need ice cream now. Yes, the only thing that could fix this is a cornetto, truly. Thank you, Jay. Creature, thank you for donating. Jiang Cheng really needs to get a successful kickflip, for fuck's sake, after this. What if there was one time Jiang Cheng did a kickflip and he landed it and he looked around and there was no one there and no one saw it, and then, you know, he could never do it ever again, and then finally, you know, Jiang Cheng finally tells him, I was the one who pulled the Wen dogs away from you, and they captured me and took my core instead of yours. And then Wei Wuxian says, and I saw you land that kickflip. And then Wei Wuxian grins and winks and says, but no one will believe you. Does one do a kickflip if there was no one around to see it? That's hilarious. That is fucking funny. Neko Neko Me, thank you for donating. With what's the word? It's a fic rec. Great Chung Chung Fix-It fic is called Linchpin by Shanna Storyteller. Ooh, I may have to look at that. Actually, you know what I really want? I want more Christmas family AUs. I want more Christmas dinner hijinks. I love when everyone that the stress revolves around the turkey getting burnt and not people dying. You know? I love them getting a little too heated over a board game. I love them drinking eggnog and drunkenly wrestling over a twister board. I love that stuff. The après-ski. I want the après-ski of Morazushi. All in their warm sweaters. All tired. Hitting up the mountainside hot tub. Ugh. I feel like I need a hug. I need to go tell Stitch what happened. Because I know it's been a long time since she read Motozushi too, so I can't remember if she forgot or not either. Oh, man. Okay. I can stream tomorrow at 4 p.m. Okay? So, yes, I have hockey, but later on in the evening. And we will read more! Okay. Okay. I love you guys. That was crazy. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for the donations and the being members, and I just really appreciate you guys. Just being there to emotionally experience that together was incredible. Truly. Spam Jung Chung nailing a kickflip. I'm only gonna say it once. I'm only gonna ever say it once in this one deserved moment. I've had this channel for like 5 years now of Jung Chung failing a kickflip. Tonight, he lands it.